Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 4th grade concept of converting units. This is standard 4.8b in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 15 of the Redesign Practice Online STAAR Test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have a table here showing equivalent numbers of pints for different numbers of quarts. Adam made 30 quarts of lemonade. What is the total number of pints? All right, so we've got a few options here. One is we could use our reference chart because we've got quarts and pints. So this is like the mathematics chart that we used to have. Paper and pencil days, they would have a ruler on the side. We don't have that anymore. But what do we know about quarts and pints? We get it right down here at the very bottom. 1 quart, and I'll scroll it so it's at the very, very bottom here. 1 quart equals 2 pints. Look at the bottom left. All right, so 1 quart equals 2 pints. That's one option. Or we could just, let's expand our graph draw feature. Let's make it a little bit more transparent. We can also just use this as a table, right? So really what we're looking at here is, another way to look at this is we are looking at it like input output, right? So we're going from 8 to 16, we're going from 2 to 20, 12 to 24, 24 to 48. The numbers are getting larger when we're going from left to right, which means we can either add or we can multiply. So let's try adding first, right? So we can try a plus 8. 8 plus 8 makes 16, but does 12 plus 8 make 24? No, 12 plus 8 makes 20. All right, so there is no erase feature, unfortunately. You just have to hit that reset button in the top left, and that just gets rid of everything. So let's multiply now. Multiply 8 times 2, okay, makes 16. So 12 times 2 makes 24. Yeah, and 24 times 2 makes 48. Which this is what we were told, right? 1 quart equals 2 pints. So that's what the reference chart told us. But if we didn't want to look at the reference chart, or we couldn't quite figure out how that worked in this particular problem, you can always just treat this as an input-output table. Now let's get to the problem. So Adam made 30 quarts of lemonade. All right, so if I were to extend my little table right here, let's just draw all over this problem. 30 quarts, so let's make sure we have it in the correct spot right there. There's your 30. All right, well, look at that. That seems pretty easy, right? Now that we've got our pattern, multiply by 2, or we could do it like this, 30 quarts, right? So we would just have to see 1 times 30 gets me 30, so 2 times 30 would get me 60. That's probably the answer that you saw a lot sooner. Multiply by 2 is going to get you 60. All right, so we know this is our answer, but let's look at some of the incorrect answers, especially this 15. I'm going to switch colors here. This is kind of a tricky one. Because watch what happens. Let's say we don't do it that way. Let's say we do it this way. What happens if we put the 30 in the wrong spot? Even though it says 30 quarts, what happens if we put the 30 in the pints? Well, I'm thinking, okay, so something times 2 gets me 30. Look at that. That's where that 15 comes from. So that is an incorrect answer simply because I put the 30 in the wrong spot and then applied what I learned. Now, these other ones, this 72, watch this. 72 looks like we're just kind of doubling, or we're adding like a plus 24. We're just going up and down rather than side to side. And then this 38, I am not exactly sure where we're getting the 38. That's kind of a random one. Maybe you can figure that out. But our answer here is C.